applause on it here. Good morning. Good Thursday morning to all of you social friends, audience members who may be tripping into today's live stream of Buying That House, given where you're tuning in from. And by the way, as part of audience participation, if you're watching this as a live stream, I'm not going to tell your boss if you're playing hooky. You know, hey, it's Thursday. It's the Thursday before the long weekend. So we know how that rolls for all of us. If you are watching this as a live stream, feel free to drop in your social posts. Tell us where you're watching this from. And if you're getting this as an on-demand recording, the outcome is the same. Do the same thing for me, my special guest today, and our audience. So with all of that said, audience members, I've got a special guest today that I had started a conversation with her probably 45 days back. And we were talking about when was the right time for her to show up as my special guest to share a lot of valuable information for you. And who might that be as far as you? Well, I'm going to lean in and say this to you. If you served as a veteran, you're going to know her. You're going to want to hear her story. If you are thinking about buying your first investment real estate property, you absolutely want to know her because she's going to share some secrets as to what has created her outcome that she's continuing to build on. So with that said, without further ado, let me warm up my special guest, Kristen Dickerson, into today's live stream. And rather than just kind of pop her into the studio, let's ask her fan base, right? Let's ask her fan base to give her a nice warm welcome. Here we go, fan base of Kristen. Yes, Kristen, these are your people. Fellow veterans, now probably in corporate. So having said that, let's also, Music Posse, let's do our part as well. Let's give her a nice round of applause here. Yes, here we go. All right, Kristen, let's bring you into the conversation. Here we go. How are you?
Good, Bill. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So as I mentioned, you and I had this conversation about you sharing your time to special guest in one of my live stream episodes. So first, I want to say thank you for sharing your time. And second, I knew what was important was to make sure you could share your time with me, your audience, and mine after your daughters finished school, graduated, moved to their next chapter, right?
Yeah, they're ongoing, so they continue to take on challenges and graduate more things, and we're both really proud of them.
That's good. That's so wonderful. So, Kristen, you heard me at the top of the live stream kind of drop some nuggets, drop some teasers as to the fact that you served as a veteran. And audience members, not only did she serve as a veteran, but this is what I've come to learn about Kristen. She knows how to fly helicopters, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kristen, tell us how you transition from flying helicopters to being a first-time landlord to now growing your real estate portfolio.
Well, I think throughout the service, we know that we move a lot, right? When we joined back in the day, we were going to move a lot. And so a lot of hesitation for veterans is to buy a home because you don't know how long you'll stay to recoup the closing costs that go into a home purchase.
Right.
But we also think about other exit strategies. And we think, well, what if I rented it and then I could just lease it out and then purchase another home at the next duty station?
Yeah.
So that was really my strategy going into, like, how do I do this cost effectively? How do I serve people well? how do I learn as much as I can so I can bless other people? And so that was really the mindset and the drive. And the why behind that is really, we were, in the service, and we saw people living in homes that just weren't taken care of properly. And the housing allowance is public record. So the landlords knew how much the soldiers or airmen were getting for a housing allowance. So they would charge that housing allowance, but they wouldn't be held accountable to upkeep the home. So I told my husband at the time, I said, when we retire, I would really like to be part of the solution. And I would like to create a company where we could do this efficiently. And, tenants didn't have to worry about maintenance, didn't have to worry about bothering a landlord or getting a hold of a landlord. So my philosophy is completely different, to change the trajectory to a tenant who says they actually care about me, not just the bottom line. And that's the transition of upkeeping not only personal relationships and serving people well, but it also uplifts the community, right? So you bring in quality people, you provide a quality home. And that's kind of like the slogan to my company is quality people. Quality homes for quality people, right? So I just don't leave them hanging, I guess is the point. So anyway,
that's so true.
That's the transition.
Yeah. And as you and I talked about, all life events, whether you, your peers, are veterans, served in the military, or still maybe active duty, National Guardsmen, Guards people for that matter, or just plain civilians, right? So let's do a shout out to a lot of them right now. Here we go. Yes, all of your peers right here, looking at you, watching you, listening to your valuable nuggets of information. All life events always point to real estate. So what I think I'm hearing from you is you decided to kind of step out, grow your business where you're actually creating a lot of value up front for military people making those moves. And maybe at that moment in time, serving as a tenant, renting from you.
That is correct. And it's not limited to military. It's just being around the military and how they were living in homes that were subpar.
Yeah.
That was the foundation why I started my company, to change that trajectory and be part of the solution. So I do have a lot of civilians that are not in the military as tenants, and they're phenomenal. So I learned a lot while I was in the service. I am appreciative of all the training that I got. I love to learn. So there's a lot of groups that I'm in, a lot of classes I go to, because I want to learn more so I could serve better.
Yeah. One thing's for sure with a lot of veterans, your peers, is, the fact of the matter is, discipline. That is so ingrained into all of your careers serving in the military. So it sounds like to me, you've literally adapted that skill set to how you have grown, built, and expanded your real estate investment portfolio. So my applause to you. Let me now ask this question. For those who are listening in today to this live stream or catching this as an on-demand recording, and if they may be about to embark being a first-time landlord, a first-time investor, what would be the 3 pieces of advice you would tell them straight up, unedited, candid, full on board?
Well, the one key principle that is kind of foundational is that you make money when you buy, not when you sell.
True.
So you really have to make sure the numbers make sense up front. Another thing I would say is make sure you vet your vendors. And if you don't have vetted vendors, I would encourage you to get into some real estate investor groups, because we do this day in and day out, and we can, offer our experiences and we can answer questions. So if there is anything that we can do to help, it's a kind of group that we're here for each other, because we honestly want to upgrade the communities in a way where we're serving people and the communities together, and how we can share our resources.
And why is it important to vet vendors? And what I think I'm hearing is it's important to probably do the due diligence building relationships with said vendors. Am I correct?
Absolutely, because there's some that have a lot of overhead, right? And so their prices would be higher and their
Yeah,
quality control may be less. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if I'm working with a person, like I think I just transitioned from a vendor because they started using AI to answer their phones. Well, at one point, AI gave me one answer and gave the tenant another answer. And so it was just proving to be inefficient. And so I just chose to go to another vendor. But you try out different vendors, and even as I don't need a vendor, I'm always scouting for vendors because you have to have a vendor list of option one, two, three, and four. Uh, One, if one starts out really well, but then they dip down on quality, then you go to the next one. You keep them rotating because in the end, the way that I can serve people well is to keep my costs low so I can keep their costs low, right?
Sure.
But I can
Yeah,
also provide value in the home. So the peace of mind, I think, is something you can't put a price on.
yeah,
But at the same time, if I do things efficiently and proactively, then I find I have less hiccups down the road. So
yeah. And maybe you've heard me say this casually in some of our conversations as I'm building a relationship with you, and that is real estate is a team sport.
eh,
And a lot of the times you may have a team that you've assembled on the field to deal with investment property number one, but that team that you've assembled may need to get adjusted as you're moving on to investment property number 10. So what I'm trying to say is it's no different than in the military, professional sports. Sometimes you have to call a different play. Sometimes you have to pull a team member on the field and say, I need you to serve this time over here. I need this person from the bench to come on so that we can move forward much more efficiently. You agree to that?
absolutely. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
raised playing sports, and so a lot of what you do is it's for the team, right? You try and get
Yes.
everyone's got to win in the transaction or the opportunity, or it doesn't really make it worth the effort in my mind of what my business model is, right?
Right.
So I think everybody needs to win, walk away from the table happy with the outcome. And then if we need to revise anything, being open to that, right? It's a really professional type of mentality, but highly efficient professionalism and not, something where I'm going to keep using someone because I have a relationship with them, even though their quality work is poor, right?
Yeah.
I will thank them for their relationship, but I will also provide feedback. Like if you're open to feedback, I would like to share, this is what happened.
Yeah.
But a lot of vendors are open to that because sometimes they don't know about their workers and not doing, the high value work that they're accustomed to.
Very true. Very true. What's another piece of advice you would share with a first-time landlord, first-time investor?
Well, getting quotes for repairs. I noticed this with a lot of wholesalers, which are, it's a strategy to get into real estate doing wholesaling, but they'll underestimate the amount it's going to take to repair and overestimate the after repair value to
Right.
make the investor feel like they're getting a big spread margin.
True.
So it's very important you know how to calculate numbers and know how much things will cost before you come up with your number to say, this is what I can offer you. And when you think about, some people have a dislike to investors providing low offers to homes. And it's not like a personal, offense to someone who owns a home, but it
Mhm.
is them calculating the numbers, what would it take to bring the home back up to value, right?
True.
So it's not a personal thing; it's really a numbers calculation. And
Yeah.
in the end, the property comes up, and then the neighborhood comes up. So
Yeah. And I think in every aspect of business, it's so important to have the right plan that you're going to execute with, my opinion, some conservative assumptions along the way. It's better that way as opposed to, human nature can creep in, which is, oh, it's going to work perfectly. And how do I say this? Life happens. It doesn't
yeah,
always work perfectly.
right, yeah, yeah. I'm like we talked yesterday. It's like you vet tenants really well, but there's going to be issues that come up. But that's the opportunity to serve, to problem solve, to fix the problem. And that's part of the entrepreneur mindset is if there's a problem, let's find a way to fix it. It's not to treat people poorly. It's like, hey, I'm on your side. How can we resolve this issue?
Yeah.
And there's great rapport with that. So
yeah, I think it's so important in the relationship of landlord and tenant to have as much of a trusted relationship. Why? Because let's be real, Kristen, no landlord wants to go through the process of evicting a tenant before it's time. And no tenant wants to be boxed into the corner, boxed into a situation where they don't have a say.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as we move to this next conversation point, I want to ask, because I think I see it, our audience member sees it. What is Mastery Property Solutions? Tell us more.
Yeah, that's kind of a loaded question. There's a lot of spokes to the company. There's private money lending. There's buy and hold, which means I'm going to buy it, renovate it, and then I'm going to rent it out.
Mm-hmm.
You can do buy and renovate and then sell. The hesitation with that is the capital gains tax. You always want to put those in your numbers.
Right.
And so sometimes, those numbers come in. It's not the person selling the home's problem that I have capital gains because I've improved the property. And so I never want to put that on them. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm less favorable towards that approach. But I will say if someone is going to be approaching a foreclosure or in pre-foreclosure, or they have a family issue and need to get out from underneath it, that's when I'll step in and go past that and be like, okay, let me help you out, because I don't want, if I can have anybody not have a foreclosure on their record, I feel like that would be a milestone for me. If I could get someone out of a bad situation.
Yeah. It's all about problem solving. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Let me help you help me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, there's different situations. And so you just kind of calculate. And that's why my company has so many spokes to it, is because when I see that there's a need for something else, I'll go get certified in that. Right.
Yeah.
And then I want to gain experience and I want to get myself in a group of that spoke. Right. I'm also a licensed Alabama realtor. Right. So I help people that, regularly want to come in and they want to buy a home and live there. And that's great. And people want to move because they have a job displacement, then they need to sell their home, then you list it. But I also work with those that are in bad situations or people that need to rent a home. I'm also taking the ones that have bad situations, bringing life back to the home and providing a quality home for someone to live in.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the spoke, but the QR code that is on my back screen is actually to my website. So all of the services and everything, if you want further details or if you want to schedule an appointment with me, it's all on the website. You can just fill in your information. I'd be happy to do a consult, see where you're at and see what I could do to help you as well.
Perfect. And with that nod, audience members, let me bring up a visual here so that you can quickly scan the QR code. Here we go. Let me pause here for a second so that you can scan the QR code for Kristen Dickerson's business called Mastery Property Solutions. And so, Kristen, as we wrap up today's live stream of buying that house, let me go off script a little bit. I know we talked, we prepped each other as to what you should expect, what I should expect. Was this any more difficult than flying a helicopter?
No, not at all. I'll tell you, transitioning from flying a helicopter to being a stay-at-home mom was a hard transition.
I bet.
It's a lot more demanding, but it was so worthwhile. So I'm really glad that I did that for our family. And now I'm glad that, they're growing, graduating their own things. And, I can have this company and, continue to grow the communities around me and even in different states. I have homes outside of the Alabama state line. So I enjoy serving from abroad. So
very, very well said. So audience members, as I wrap up today's live stream of buying that house, you heard it from Kristen. She's growing her real estate portfolio. She has so many different spokes to her business. Once again, a shout out to Mastery Property Solutions. So if you need further consultation, you want to start a conversation with her, just simply scan the QR code that you saw earlier. So audience members, I'm going to ask my music posse to basically play us out. Now, before I do that, for those of you following the wake of Kristen's success, if you are a first-time investor, you've got your unique story that you want to share with a virtual audience, a bigger audience, and you may be scratching your head like, you know what? I want to step up to the plate and I want to serve as a guest in one of your upcoming live streams. How can you do that? All you need to do is simply scan this QR code. You will get in touch with me. I look forward to starting a conversation with you so that we can share your story. Audience members, music posse, let's play us out. Everyone, enjoy your long Memorial Day weekend. Here we go.